on, fam? Left, right, left nation. We're back. The Silver Fox in the house, broadcasting live from Prince William County, Virginia. If you don't know who I am and you're new to the channel, Mark R. Chabot, United States Marine Corps retired Star Sergeant type. A quick shout out real quick to my sponsors over here on my left shoulder, Devil's Backbone Brewery. Thank you so much for your generous donation and all your gifts that you provided me. If you like beer, I assure you, if you're on the east side of the Mississippi, you will absolutely love Devil's Backbone. Make sure you grab some when you go out and do your next bit of beer shopping. All right, man, we're done with the housekeeping. I got a familiar face sitting across from me. He's one of my brothers. So if you recall, about 18 months ago, he came on the channel and provided some thoughts about transition, about leadership, highlighted some of his career, all those good things. So if you want to know more about my guest, you'll have to dig through the old files over there and you'll look for Nelson Coburn. The best comment we ever got on the YouTube channel was from a young lady out there who said there's just too much sexiness on this one episode that I did with him. Hey, everybody, welcome the newly elected president of the West Coast Drill Instructor Association, my brother, my mentee, and my friend, Nelson Coburn. Brother, thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Good to see you, Mr. Silver Fox.
Damn right, baby. Hey, all this handsomeness, man, just like you make me better. Thank you. Hey, man. So when we left off your last on your last talk that we did, you were focused on your real estate and everything. And I know there's one important update that I'd like you to share and I'd like you to promote, because that's what we do here. We take care of our teammates. Tell everybody a little bit about your store open that's coming in February.
Yeah, so February 8th. It's been a long road coming. I think I said at the last podcast that it's taken a few years to get it up and running. Some things in business you do want to rush, and other things you don't. And this was something I didn't want to rush, but it's called Hero Engagements. It's a boutique jewelry store located in San Clemente. The grand opening is February 8th, and it's going to be completely different when you're looking to find that special something, that ring, engagement ring, or jewelry for someone special. You make an appointment, you come in, you sit down, we collaborate. And yeah, it's just by appointment, one-on-one. It's real personal, because I think buying something like that is personal. So, if you want to come check it out, can't make the grand opening, so be it. But yeah, look me up. We'll be on Instagram, and I'll have a landing page on the website soon.
Just like Nelson does in all his business dealings, you'll get, a personal touch behind it. It won't just be trying to rush you out of there and stuff, something and fatten up his own pocket. You will get coached into the right decision. That's for sure.
And remember, it's fine jewelry, but I got prices, all prices.
Yeah. And last thing about that, do you specialize in diamonds? Give everybody a little bit.
Specialize in diamonds, specifically engagement rings. But the person I'm collaborating with, my jeweler's based out of LA. So what typically happens is you'll come in, we'll sit you down, you find something that you like, and if I don't have it, we design it in shop together, and then a couple weeks later, we'll have it in the store pickup.
Okay, for all the young Marines out there who follow the channel, if you're under the age of 23, please don't go see Nelson. The odds are not in your favor, man. Do not put a ring on a finger. You and I have experienced a lot of those horror stories with young guys. Hey, man, sometimes they make it, though.
They do.
Sometimes they do. All right, man. The heart of the matter tonight is for you to have a captive audience and talk to not just the West Coast Drill Instructor Association, but just drill instructors in general, and kind of just talk a little bit about the fraternity, the camaraderie. You're a newly elected president. I know you're energized and you're motivated and you want to make it better. But before that, mission. Talk a little bit about mission and focus and what indeed the association embodies to do.
Well, it's the West Coast Drill Instructor Association Sergeant Major Leland D. Crawford chapter. And our chapter doesn't charge dues. So I'll give you it's called WCDIA.us is the website. You can log on and you can join for free. And it doesn't matter if you're an East Coast drill instructor or a West Coast drill instructor. We accept all drill instructors as long as you had a successful tour.
Yeah.
And you can be part of the organization. So what does the West Coast Drill Instructor Association do? Well, we focus on drill instructors, active duty, current drill instructors on the depot, drill instructors that have finished their tour out in the fleet, and as well as the drill instructors that have retired or got out, moved on to do the next chapter in their life, as well as their families. You know, if God forbid a drill instructor passes away, we take care of their families as well. So we raise money through our fundraising events. We'll make sure that we'll have an updated website by April. They'll lay out April to April. So, and then we'll be looking for people to volunteer and hop in.
Okay. What's your first order of business to, you know, to analyze and to look at, you know, and just, and to make it, you know, what's your first thing that you're trying to attack?
So I've been part of the organization. Well, first, when I was active duty at DI school, I got to work alongside the West Coast Drill Instructor Association and really watch what they did. And over the years, and then when I retired, I became the vice president for a couple of years. And one thing that I feel like I really want to harp on first is getting the messaging out of what we do. We do a lot of great things. For example, we do bricks down at the monument. Not a lot of people know that we do bricks. So families will ask for a brick, a retiring Marine will ask for bricks. Sergeant Major Bobby Woods retired. He'll go down there, he'll cut the bricks, place them in, and no one's capturing that. A retired Sergeant Major continuing the legacy, placing it down there on behalf of the family members or even the Marine themselves. And that's just one thing. For Christmas, we did about 1,000 bikes in collaboration with other nonprofits on base. We put together all these bikes. So we got to do a better job, in my opinion, to get the messaging out of what we do and why we should be supported. And then we can start growing our membership and raising more funds.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, from my time that I recall, you know, you and I did our, you know, overlapping drill instructor tours in Charlie Company. And then, you know, we were together, you know, as 89, 99s in the regiment. Hey, we don't have, we can save those stories for another time. Right. But, you know, when we were, you know, within the regiment together, when you were first sergeant and I was a sergeant major, you know, we were tied in with them and kind of, it just seemed to me, my subnosis. And again, a big shout out to, you know, Chip Dykes, Alan Hewlett, Bobby Woods, Dave Francisco, Phil Stoner, all those guys that have carried the water, you know, and gotten it this far. So big shout out to you guys. If I missed you personally by name, no offense, but all you guys that have been a part of it, you know, and indeed, you know, carried it, greatly appreciate it. But it seemed like there was, you know, like there was kind of like quarterly things that would go on, but kind of the culminating event was the, you know, the yearly gathering. And do you have any thoughts about, you know, how you're going to maybe spread out events throughout the year, like what the plan is with the other board members, what things are you guys kind of kicking around? Go ahead.
We got a few things, but the first thing I've noticed over the years with the West Coast Drill Instructor Association is that we got a big gap. Generational gap, right?
Yeah.
You know, the board members and executive board members, you know, thank you to all of them who carried the torch and got it, the West Coast Drill Instructor Association to this point. But we're needing younger Marine drill instructors to join the organization to help take it to that next level and kind of get that gap closed and updated, right? And it's not a knock on the previous presidents or vice presidents at all. They did an amazing job. But with a 20-year gap, 10-year gap from the last guy that retired out from when he was a drill instructor, you know, we got to update that. So we're definitely looking for members to join so you can help out in some way. To answer your other question of what the plan is, I kind of got four pillars of things I want to focus on. To capture, and I think it'll help out a lot. Obviously, update, you know, our social media, get that rolling, get that robust. That will help get the word out. But also doing videos and shorts, reels of actually things that are going on with our drill instructors that are currently on the depot. I plan on starting a podcast. Don't have a name for it, but we got a couple of things I want to focus on as the current drill instructors, like highlighting, showcasing. You know, we've got honor platoon, regimental drill records, graduating McQuist course, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the first pillar, that's attacking the current drill instructors. The next one is the drill instructors that are out in the fleet that are doing amazing things out there, you know, based off of things that they learn on the depot through their leadership, you know, time management, and talking to them about that, what that transition looked like from leaving the depot and going back to the fleet after 3 years, you know, the struggles that they might have faced and how they overcame that. The third one would be reaching out to drill instructors that have transitioned out and are continuing to do great things out in the communities and in their personal lives and in business. And to tie it all together, the fourth thing would be interviewing those drill instructors, or soon to be, that have DI orders that are going and volunteer to go back, and talking to them and ask them what made them decide to want to volunteer. What mentor did they have in their units, likely a drill instructor, or maybe it was their drill instructors at boot camp that carried them through that first 4 years. So talking to them, the overall goal is to raise their standard and bring in camaraderie amongst all of us and make the Marine Corps better.
Yeah. I mean, my synopsis of, my time there is that, an injection of youth would be a good thing. And you're right. A lot of us communicate via social media, and that's kind of the way, that messaging is done, and emails are good, and, newsletters are good. And I know a lot of the older folks, read them, and they are important to them, but we got to uplift that effort for sure. And I believe, hey, sorry for everybody who's dropped comments and that's tuned in right now. Hey, I'm on a live feed right now with the West Coast Drill Instructor Association President Nelson Coburn, First Sergeant Retired. Appreciate all you guys' support. But the other thing I think that's important is that I believe that because, you get the back end of the association, it's professional, that the things that you want to do once they get vetted, through the official Marine Corps PAO, I think they're going to be very, very supportive, like really supportive. And I think just telling a story is important. It's really important, telling those stories of, shorts of, guys that are on the job, and also the guys that were on the job and the guys in the fleet, fraternity, man, promoting the fraternity.
Controversial, but there was a time on the depot not too long ago where the Marines were getting histed to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I'm not going to point fingers at anyone why that was happening, but I will say that, why has there been this cloud over becoming a drill instructor? Yes, it's a lot of work, physical work, mental work, a lot of time away from family, but so are all the other rebuilds, right? Recruiting's not any easier there. Yep. They get there, and I see these, when I was at DI school, I saw these students, and they're already defeated mentally before they haven't even started training it. But yeah. Why is that? Who's mentoring them? Who's talking to them? When they're talking to them, what are they saying? Are they just talking about all the negative things? Or are they talking about all the positive things? That's where I really want to start focusing on why, if we get the messaging right, we should have lines of Marines wanting to go down there and carry on that new legacy. Because if you're not fighting battles, there's no other better place, in my opinion, than making the future Marines. Mentoring, leading, making Marines. There's no better job.
I agree, man. It's rewarding. It's very rewarding, man. I do appreciate my time, making Marines. It's very memorable, and it's pretty cool to watch the transformation, happen and all that stuff. But I think you're on to something, brother. And I think that your thought process is on point. Your 4 pillars, sound really, really good. And I think that you're not going to have any problem getting, depot support, as long as you're not running a clown show, and having them, say, stupid things, and you'll be good to go, bro.
No, we're a professional organization, and, there's nothing wrong with trying to make your fighting position better and helping assist, the organization that you love so much, and find a way where you can still give back and make things better. And as long as you're going in it with that idea in your heart, anything's possible. Yeah.
Not that I expect to know this off your head, but about how many memberships, like active, would you say, like participants, like engage, that really truly engage with the association, show up to events, plugged in? What do you think? Just give me a random estimate.
Yeah. So we have about, I want to say, anywhere between 12 to 1,400 members. And I will say, since COVID, our reunions have started to shrink, and I think that's a little bit of COVID, a little bit of the economy, so it's slowed down. But I think now that, and to put a shout out to my vice president, as well as Sergeant Major Edwin Hidalgo, he's the vice president. I think him and I, bringing a little bit of youth interjected in there, we'll bring in those missing drill instructors that we all served with to bring them into the fold. And then we can grow back those reunions and those get-togethers. We also focused a lot on the depot, which is great, right? We were there to teach them a class about what the West Coast Drill Instructor Association about. We also sponsor their dinners, and we also provide a trophy at grad, and multiple other things on the depot. But I feel like we need to get out, get on the other bases, bring those drill instructors, those gunner sergeants, staff sergeants, first sergeants that are in the fleet, and start collaborating together, right? When you and I were as soon as we finished our tour, we were in Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
And I knew I could pick up the phone at any time if I needed something in combat, and I knew I could look in the gal and find that drill instructor I served with, and I could get on the hook, call him up, and he would have my back. And, I think that we got to continue to collaborate. You can't go back to the fleet and you're just in your fighting position all by yourself. There's someone else that was ahead of you that did the same exact thing, maybe at a different unit, maybe a different location, but they're feeling the same pains, the same struggles, and they overcome it. That peanut butter should be spread across the enterprise.
Yeah, that's entirely fair. I mean, I read like the first thing, I don't know, anytime you used to wear a service uniform or anything that had ribbons on it, I that's the first thing I looked for was a drill instructor ribbon. Be like, cool, now I got an icebreaker conversation with any other staff NCO if I see that. It's like, hey, were you Paris Island to San Diego?
Not only that, but when they checked in, it's likely they already knew the drill instructor was coming in. They got all these extra collateral duties they're getting ready to pour on that new drill instructor, right?
It's true.
All the drilling ceremonies, all the big events for drill, and anything that they know they need a lot of attention, and someone's gonna not knocking my recruiters or any other B billet, but in my opinion, it always felt that in the infantry that drill instructor is getting hemmed up to do all those extra things, which he has the skill sets to do, and so be it. But he's having to figure it all out. Maybe he wasn't the drill master on the depot, but he sure as hell is going to be the drill master at that unit, right?
Yeah.
So you got to have a connection. You got to have those connections that you had on the depot. Continue when you leave.
Yeah, I agree. I still talk to so many of the guys that we served with, on the recruit depots and stuff, and they're very, very helpful, motivated. I think the other part is if we don't continue, to evolve and energize, the association, then it'll be like anything else. It'll just turn into just a few people, slowly, die out and lose interest. So I think it's, worth, particularly because so many of the folks that served on the West Coast depot, they're still local. So it's a lot of them. It's just very easy. It's very easy for them to tie back in.
Right.
My pitch to go ahead.
No, I was going to say, unlike the East Coast, right? Paris Island, once most guys retire, unless they stay in South Carolina, they're going back to whatever state. But you're right, Mark. A lot of people stay local. But the issue that I find with some of the unions is like, well, I don't want to go down to the depot and watch the grad. I can go there anytime, right? But it's bigger than that. It's about breaking bread with your brothers, checking in on each other, getting face to face, catching up, seeing the families, and then don't forget the cadence calling competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
This year, have a bunch of heavy hitters out there. I was never the best at calling cadence. Truth be told, being honest, I got the job done.
Me neither. Enough to get the job done, baby. Got
the job done.
A 93 and a 92 on initial and final drill. What can I say? Good enough. Pays the bills.
We just got to revigorate it, and it takes a village to do so, right? But it takes the people that want to care, right? And for all of you that are listening, or when you're watching this, think about when you were that new drill instructor on the depot. Think about the issues that came up. Think about the family things that were really bothering you, and you didn't have someone to reach back to and ask for help, and you felt all alone, right? We're the keepers. We're here to support and give back where we can fit in, where the Marine Corps may not be able to, or it's just out of their realm to be able to do so. We're here to support that. And, by you participating in some way, Wiggins reached out to me and said, "Hey, Coburn, you need any help? I got you. I'm not, geographically located, but you need me to do something. I got you." That's what I'm looking for, right? We can help with website. We can help with, putting out a email blast to the members, but we can all be involved in some way. For a lot of us that were drill instructors, that was a pivotal point to the rest of our career, right? It was a very pivotal point for us. And I would hate to not continue to give back. And that's why I'm so passionate about doing so, and I'm excited for what the next couple of years is going to be like.
I think once you inject some steroids in the social media strategy, when you really start getting, putting, a lot of, product and, in reels and, in shorts, all this stuff behind it, I think that a lot of people will be more interested and they'll be more engaging in it, because the more you advertise it, the more likely they are to show up. And the other thing, I think that's a good point, that some guys, I know everybody has a different level of passion, and not everybody's tour is the same. And some people, leave there with a bad taste, and others, leave there on a high note. And then there's everybody in between. But regardless of how you finish your tour, whatever, that being a Marine Corps drill instructor is unique. It is special. It's considered, like a very, very, respected duty. And the fact that you are making Marines, to go out there and serve in the fleet, potentially, go to combat, and you're the initial person planting that seed, and there's 70 to 100 of them in a platoon that think that you are the epitome of being a Marine, the leader, and for the rest of their life, they remember you forever. They remember, a Marine like Sergeant Nelson Coburn, Greenbelt drill instructor, Charlie Company, platoon 1,141. They remember you for the rest of your life. That alone is worth, you recognizing within yourself that you are part of something, a fraternity that is worth your investment. So my pitch to everybody is, hey, try to plug in when you can. Don't be a stranger. You're always welcome back. And I know a lot of the younger guys, they get frightened by the older guys a little bit. They always, because we always think that generationally, like we weren't as good as the generation before. But my experience, all the older guys that I interacted with during my time in the depot never looked at me, in a condescending manner. They never looked at me like I was beneath them. They always put an arm around me, quick, to give me some encouragement, quick to give me some tips. They were indeed mentors. And I know that you and Edwin and all the guys on the board and all the guys that were before you will continue, to do that and make the new guys feel the same way as they continue to crack, and come aboard.
Absolutely. 100%. You said it perfectly as far as, the camaraderie. It doesn't matter. Just like in the speech on the Reaper, right? It doesn't matter. It's the Marine Corps breed. Old,
that's
young,
right.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, I'm super excited, Mark. I know that there's drill instructors out there every day going through school or across the street, and they need to be supported, and they're working hard. And I remember those days. I remember that it was yesterday.
Absolutely.
But we had each other. We had each other's back, and the West Coast Drill Instructor Association was there then, and will continue to be there moving forward, and as needed. We
still have the back, brother. I'm gonna give you the friggin' the left over to you to go ahead and final comments, man. And try to hook some more guys, man. Go ahead. Yeah. So again, the website is WCDIA.us. Please get there. You can join us on the very first page. You click join, become a member. Remember, it doesn't matter east or west, though it says West Coast Drill Instructor Association. We have members that were East Coast drill instructors that come to our reunions that have been there multiple years in a row. It's all love. It's all camaraderie. Please join. I'll be sending out some info looking for members to join to help with key things specifically like social media and email blasts and shorts and reels. We're going to be collaborating with active duty guys as well as Marines that are out. So please, hop in. Every little bit of help makes it so much better. And for the current drill instructors down there, you're doing an amazing job. I was down there not too long ago. And like you said earlier, Mark, old breed, new breed, it doesn't matter. It's Marine Corps breed, drill instructors. And thank you so much for having me back on, Mark. It's always a pleasure to see you. You're my chief drill instructor, and then you're my sergeant major, brother. And I really appreciate everything. And all man, I appreciate all, your effort, and putting me on your shoulders. Cause I tell you, man, I needed you. That's for sure. You did great things. Execute. That's what we do. We did great things for each other. It's a solid partnership. My last final, shot to everybody would be that if you could please take this and share it, with your drill instructor peers. That way they get to hear from, from somebody who's going to be the president for you know, Nelson's young. He's old, but he's young, if that makes sense. He's old because he's a retired Marine, but he's still young, meaning that he's well below 50. So he's got legs on him. He's going to be doing this for a while. And then also me having known Nelson and served shoulder to shoulder for 5 years and kept in touch with him for almost 20 now. If you have things that you would like to see, or you have ideas or suggestions, I promise you, he will not turn a blind eye to it. He will look at it, and he will follow up with you, all that stuff. He's going to provide his due diligence towards it. So please.
Bottom up refinement, Mark. Bottom up refinement.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, man, we're at 25 minutes. Thank you, my brother, for continuing, you know, to be a veteran, making a difference, coming aboard here on episode 3. I love you. And I wish you're going to crush this, and you know that you got me. I'm a member already. And if you need any advisement whatsoever, you know, you got me in your corner. Sergeant Major Kent lives right down the road. I'll loop him in. Sergeant Major Ruiz is 30 minutes north of me. I can go up there and go knock on his door, etc. So we stand behind you. Yeah, I'll do my best. Okay, man, we're going to sign off for the night. And everybody, please continue to take great care of yourselves. Try not to get, you know, too high, too low. Things will settle out. And hey, man, keep on doing the best that you can in life. I love you guys, man. Take care.
Everyone.
Lots of love, baby.